partnership with Laura Foncier, a product of Renapro Finance SA. The 2 p.m. newscast
with Abel Bella Samari.
It is 2 p.m. in Yaoundé. It is a Royal News Magazine. Good afternoon, blessed people. We take you to our magazine for today. Election makes a fundamental contribution to democratic governance. Election enables voters to select leaders and to hold them accountable for their performance in office. In today's edition of Royal News Magazine, we shall focus on the upcoming election at the Cameroon Football Federation with the fundamental question this afternoon: what future lies for Cameroon football? Through reports, interview, experts' reactions and analysis, we shall be seeking solution to these questions and more. And still in this edition of our news magazine, we shall have our news of the day with Jessica Tangana, and she shall be telling us about an award to Promise Akante as best female journalist in Cameroon for the year 2021. Mapala Zita will be wrapping up this magazine with our cultural agenda page. Stay tuned for these and more. Good afternoon once again. My name is Abel Bella Samari. We open our magazine as usual with our news of the day, which comprises of our national and international page, presented for us this afternoon by Jessica Tangada. Good afternoon to you, Jessica.
Good afternoon, Abel. We enter news with these other awards at the Listeners Radio of Promise Akante, editor-in-chief of the English Desk here at Royal FM, who was recognized as best female journalist in Cameroon at the award organized by Dream Network in Buea. Let's listen to the reaction of some of her colleagues for this award.
I'm Jean-Patient Salah. I'm the director of information of Royal FM. We are proud to know that our colleague, Promise Akante, have received a prize. This is a consecration of her abnegation and her courage in work. She can do better, we know that, but this prize can be a new motivation for her to be the best. Because in Royal FM we need to be the best, all of us.
I'm Jean-Claude Gay, head of Youth Desk and Magazine at Royal FM. I'm very happy with this new award, which not only honors Promise Akante, but also honors our radio. It is the result of a job well done, driven by the chairman of Royal FM. I wish Promise Akante to win other new prizes to reward this work that she does every day here.
Mapala Zita, journalist at Royal FM, and not really surprised because I was expecting it. She's always been very hardworking. She has always given her all in this path of life that she chose to journalism. So I think it is well deserved because it's the reward of a job well done.
Annie-Lisette Ambassa, I'm journalist in Royal FM. I am very happy not only for Promise Akante but also for the Radio Royal FM. Why I'm not surprised? Because she is a hard worker. She knows the limit between job and work. With colleagues, she gave always her support. She is sympathetic. Congratulations, Pro.
On her part, Promise Akante gives us her feelings after this award.
Well, it's a sentiment of joy, it's a sentiment of happiness, but above all, it's a sentiment that you need to work harder, or that I need to work harder, because when this award was given to me, the first place I was surprised because the organizers are people that I don't know, Dream Network. I was told that it's a team of veteran journalists and media promoters who evaluate our works throughout the year, and they have their criteria with which they have to select in whatever category. Honored and flattered, and then encouraged at the same time with the award. And it's definitely an award that I will dedicate to, first of all, my promoter, Emmanuel Noel Bisai, the Reverend Pastor, who is also a father figure to me. I also this award dedicated to my colleagues, because here in the office we spend more time than the time we spend in the house. So it's and then a very big one to my children, who are always there, especially when they have to sacrifice not seeing me early in the morning. I have to rush to work, come back late. They are always there to say, mommy, you are doing good. Everyone. And then to our listeners who have never stopped criticizing us and giving us positive critics to help us grow better. So it's just a thing of joy, a dedication to all those who are truly concerned about my career growth. And then I also think it's a call for me to work harder, to be better than today, and to have many more awards.
Now let's get a word of Bertrand Ona, station manager of Royal FM, for the award.
As a station manager of Royal FM, I feel honored by the trophy won by Promise Akante. This trophy is the proof of hard work, the proof of positive appreciations of our listeners. I take this opportunity to thank our owner, Reverend Pastor Emmanuel Noel Bisai, for all his encouragement, the coaching and sacrifice towards our professional life every day. This award will encourage all of us to work even harder. You know, this is the fourth award we are receiving just this end of year at Royal FM.
Now, out of the radio, but still in the news, the third ordinary session of the legislative period wraps up today, 10th December 2021, with the National Assembly by the Right Speaker Honorable Kabla Yegre Jibril, and at the Senate by the President Masanya Jifenji. Details of this news shall therefore be given in our subsequent newscast of the day. The second biannual conference of governors is on the way in Yaoundé today. Chairing day one of the 2 days meeting is Minister of Territorial Administration Paul Atanganji, who amongst other things discuss on how to host a successful AFCON and end-of-year celebration void of any security challenges. In the following excerpt, Governors Samuel Dieudonné Iva Biwa of the Littoral and Bernard Okalia Bilai of the Southwest region speak of the readiness of their respective regions of command to host the 2021 AFCON, saying the security situation is globally satisfactory.
The Littoral region as a whole, and Douala in particular, we are ready to welcome the AFCON tournament. As far as security is concerned, we are dealing every week with strategies to make people feel at ease at Douala. All the stadiums are secured. Our sanitation campaign is on the way. Every Thursday, the mayors, even the SDOs, the DOs, and the population, we are working to make Douala be clean.
We are waiting for the beginning of the competitions. We have been preparing for long. We have the advantage of having hosted the female CAN of 2016 and recently the CHAN. So the population know what they have to do. They to have their expectation. We, all of us, who come together with the support of the hierarchy to make the event a very big event, an historic event in the Southwest region. Vigilance remain. When I say that we continue to sensitize the population, is particularly towards vigilance. Some days ago, you know what happened in Great Support Market. It is the population themselves who sees the back and they call the gendarme to come and destroy it. That's the behavior, action we are expecting from the population.
In the same line, the Minister of Territorial Administration, while opening the biannual conference of regional governors, strongly condemned the phenomenon of land grabbing and the random creation of third-class chiefdoms, which he says it's in violation of the law. Here is an excerpt of his declaration.
The issue of land grabbing is a main concern expressed by parliamentarians during the present session. People still build on government land without permission, and hectares of land are still bought under dubious conditions. Third-class traditional chiefdoms are created in total violation of legal provisions. Therefore, regional governors should take appropriate measures to fight against these problems of land grabbing and random creation of chiefdoms, which have been repeatedly tabled by members of parliament and population.
Cameroon joined this day the world to celebrate Human Rights Day under the theme Equality, Reducing Inequalities, Advancing Human Rights, with the main objective to increase the level of public awareness and understanding of human rights education and training as being essential for the promotion and achievement of stable and harmonious relations among communities and for fostering mutual understanding, tolerance and peace. To better understand what human rights are, Promise Akante caught up with Barrister Ndong Christopher of the Cameroon Bar Council to throw more light.
Human rights are all rights that are enshrined to a person naturally, rights that the person benefit as a result of his existence on earth, in a society, in a given group, in a given country. The right to education, the right to feed, the right to be taken care of by society, by government, by our parents. You have rights and equally there are obligations, which a human being equally owes obligation to the same society, the same country, the same nation, the same parents, and to the place where he lives, in the respect of laws governing that society, that family home, that village, those are all what we'll call human rights. And of course, these rights are there to be respected. If they are not respected, that is where it calls for concern as regards human rights.
Considering a Cameroonian context, she sought to know from Barrister Ndong Christopher if human rights are respected in our country, and he explains.
Human rights in Cameroon are, in fact, in the majority cases, are not being respected. The government is the guarantor for making sure the respect of human rights is put in place, but the government is the first to violate, abuse human rights. Of course, they sing the song, they celebrate the day, but in practice, the Cameroon government does not respect human rights. Look at the recent cases. It is 5 years today where the government in Cameroon has abused the rights of citizens, either as a society, as a minority, as a tribe. And again, it has worsened in a situation where human rights have been abused politically. That is even the worst. Economically, the crime too is socially, it is worse.
You are right. Your role, say no to corruption, is a theme under which the 2021 edition Anti-Corruption Day was commemorated worldwide. In our Cameroonian context, corruption is an ill which has eaten deep into our governance system, especially, and one is even tempted to ask if we can ever hope for a corruption-free Cameroon. The chairperson of CONAC, Reverend Dr. Dieudonné Masingam, gives us a word on the anti-corruption edition of this year in the following bite.
We think that it is an opportunity for us to call attention of every citizen and all public sectors so as to be very well engaged, because when we see 1.6 something, the level of perception, we see that it is not yet very good, but we are not disappointed. We think that things will be ameliorated, and we think also that when we call the attention of media, it is because we need the collaboration and through collaboration, and we need also the engagement, involvement of every sector of the fight against corruption.
Out of Cameroon in Ghana, the Ghanaian government has informed that as from this Sunday midnight, all visitors to the country need to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 before being allowed to enter in their country. Ghanaians who intend to return to their country in the next 4 nights are therefore expected to go in for vaccination. The order is part of measures to help control the spread of the Omicron variant of COVID-19. We recall that till date, Ghana has recorded over 130,000 cases of coronaviruses in total and 1,200 deaths. At least 54 people have been killed and scored more injured after the truck they were transporting crashed in southern Mexico. Report says they were migrants from Central America and were crammed into the truck's trailer when it rolled in the state of Chiapas. Investigation are still going on for this accident. More details shall be given to you with this going on. It's all for our news of the day. Back to you, Abel.
We want to thank you very much, Jessica Tsangana, for our news of the day, and Romiali Kume for selecting on this song, Kimbi Isuke, on the title Le Pipi de Lion. And this brings us to our talking point in this magazine. We are going to talk about elections at the Cameroon Football Federation. And you know, election makes a fundamental. In today's edition of Royal News magazine, we shall focus on the upcoming election at Fecafoot, which the fundamental question today being what future lies for Cameroon football. Through reports, interview, experts' reactions and analysis, we shall be seeking solution to this question. That is what is rocking Cameroon football. Stay tuned. And joining me in the studio is our awards-winning best female journalist, editor-in-chief at Royal FM, Promise Akante. Headquarters in Chinga here in Yaoundé, as election for the president of the football body takes place this Saturday, December 11, 2021 at Hotel Montphoebe. Considering all the echoes and we've created in the build-up to the day, you say there is more to this election that meets the eyes. Ms. Akante.
The Cameroon Football Federation, abbreviated Fecafoot, bears a special responsibility to safeguard the integrity and reputation of Cameroonian football. It protects the image of Cameroonian football and that of all the members and leaders of its structures from any negative influence contrary to the principles of sports ethics. This, of course, is in an ideal situation. The Fecafoot being displayed for the past few years is a sham. Going by Chapter 5, Articles 13 to 21, there are certain conducts that should not be portrayed by Fecafoot officials. For example, portraying wrongful conduct, unduly appropriating the property of Fecafoot, offering, receiving undue advantages in order to obtain or retain businesses, or any other improper advantages, acting with complete credibility and integrity at all times. All of these are ink on paper. On the field, in all hardcore reality, the presidency of Fecafoot is at the center of a lot of
controversies. Anyone who is elected faces the challenges of legitimacy and legality. There seems to always be one stray electron waiting to contest the electoral process. If one is to look far back to 2009, when a certain John Begininde was neutralized by the football, one could extrapolate that the those who get soaked with sweat and rain, dirtied with mud and dust, deserve better than what they are presently being served. All this hatred, blackmail, manipulation, disinformation and corruption that have seemingly found a permanent dwelling place at Fecafoot should be eradicated. The endless scandals, successive lawsuits and insatiable want for football money are not doing Cameroonian football any good. Football and Fecafoot should be left for those who have the best interest of Cameroonian football at heart.
Promise Asante in that write-up, many have described the Cameroon Football Fecafoot headquarters in Chinga as the Jacob wall that everybody wants to protect and tap from the rich resources that football generates in this country. Now, I reporter Bizal B. Marfo takes us through the history of Cameroon Football Federation Fecafoot and the different presidents who have headed that federation. Take a listen to her report.
The Cameroon Football Federation Fecafoot is an association bringing together Cameroon football clubs and organizing national competitions and international matches for the Cameroon selection. Cameroon, born under the name the National Federation of Cameroon, was founded in 1959. It has been affiliated with the World Football Governing Body FIFA since 1962 and has been a member of the African Football Confederation (CAF) since 1963. The first extraordinary General Assembly of Fecafoot was held on January 11, 1959 in Yaoundé, during which the Cameroon Football League was dissolved. This led to the birth of the Cameroon Football Federation, placed under the direct control of the then Deputy Prime Minister in charge of national education. The first president of Fecafoot was Mr. Ngankou Amos from 1958 to 1960. In 1961, Ibrahim Bombo Njoya took over office as president till 1964. From 1964 to 1968, Cameroonian football saw the Oryx Club of Douala in the African Cup of Champions clubs in 1965. In 1968, René Esomba was elected at the head of Fecafoot. The national team played in the final phase of the 1970 African Cup of Nations (AFCON) in Khartoum, Sudan. Cameroon obtained the organization of the AFCON 1972. It was on this occasion that Cameroon built its first two major stadiums, that is the Amadou Ahidjo in Yaoundé and Reunification in Douala. After 1972, Mr. Jean Zoua Amougou was appointed president of the federation until 1978. before being replaced by Mr. Gottlieb Titi from 1978 to 1985. The next president was Mr. Peter Tamak Yana, 1985 to 1986, and Mr. Issa Hayatu from 1986 to 1988, who subsequently became president of the African Football Confederation (CAF). Then came the appointments of Mr. Jean G. Njikam by interim, 1988 to 1989, Albert Etotoke, 1989 to 1990, Simon Njikam, Pascal Babylon Owona, 1990 to 1993, and Mahad Daher, 1993 to 1996. The 1996 election following the Extraordinary General Assembly saw the victory of Mr. Vincent Onana on the eve of the final phase of the World Cup in France in 1998, for which the Cameroon national team had qualified. He was accused of fraud and then dismissed from his post. FIFA set up a provisional executive unit chaired by Mr. Iya Mohammed until April 11, 2000, when an extraordinary General Assembly elected the son of Garwa as president of FECAFOOT. Mr. Mohamed Iya was re-elected for the first time on February 15, 2005 for another 4-year term, then the second time on May 24, 2009 for a third 4-year term. In June 2013, Iya Mohammed was arrested and placed under a committal warrant. After a long period of quarrels, FIFA set up a standardization committee chaired by Professor Joseph Owona from 2013 to 2015. He organized the elections in which Tombi Aroko emerged victorious. In September 2017, a second standardization committee was set up at the FECAFOOT headquarters in Chinga, chaired by Mr. Diodene Happy. It is responsible for rereading the text and organizing new elections, which he did in December 2018, with the adoption of the new FECAFOOT text on October 10 and the election of a new executive on December 12. On 18 December 2018, Seydou Mbombo Joya took office as president of the Cameroon Football Federation.
Bizarre B. For in that reports are now on Crispin. In the following report, present the different candidates, their strong and weak point ahead of tomorrow's election.
According to the list published by the Electoral Commission of the Cameroon Football Federation (FECAFOOT), 7 candidates were initially retained to run for the top job of the country's football federation, out of 8 who deposited their files. However, out of the 7 candidates, 3, notably Jean Crépin Sauté, Justin Tagou and Emmanuel Babouan Kesak, all withdrew their candidacy and aligned behind Samuel Etofis. Others who have maintained their candidacies are Seydou Mbombo Joya, Jules Denis Onana, and Zachary Wanja. One of the leading candidates is Samuel Etofis, former footballer and captain of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon. He is one of the best striker in the world and regarded as one of the greatest African players of all time. Seydou Mbombonjoya, interim president of Fecafoot and former administrator in the football body, Jules Denis Onana, former Indomitable Lions defender. He played his first game for the national team in 1988 and the last in 1995. Lastly, Zachary Wonja. Not much has been heard of him since he ruled as president of Panthère Sportive of Ndé. He is a forestry expert and successful businessman who has always kept tabs with Cameroon's football at the highest level.
And to find out what does the law says about the election at the Cameroon Football Federation as well as its seat or its organization, our reporter Jementa put forth that question to elect Gamay in the person of Nelson Lambris. Hear him speak in the following soundbite.
You know, Fecafoot is somehow like a parastatal association, even though it's a private association, but the state of Cameroon actually puts in a lot of money in order to build stadiums and to make sure that the football is moving in a better direction. So it is obvious that there are supposed to be polemics and a politicking. Since all the ministers are politicians, they will always try as much as possible to come in and do the political propaganda. In this situation like this, it's not surprising. We've seen that in South Africa, we've seen that in Ivory Coast, we've seen that in so many other countries. The Football Federation is not actually left in the hands of the
action have been pouring in to find out what they think about the different candidates that are running in for the election at the Cameroon Football Federation. Take a listen to her report.
In just less than few hours, the elections at the helm of the Cameroon Football Federation will unfold with 4 candidates to battle for the post of the Fecafoot president. And as reactions are pouring in, Franklin is a football fan.
Candidates are showing us how far they can handle Fecafoot. Others are telling us what they need to change in Fecafoot. Others are telling us how they know how to manage Fecafoot. But Cameroon being we know, we only wait for the results before we can say anything. But each and every candidate who is going in should have a positive mind about Cameroonian football. And the one who succeeds at the helm should also have a positive mind and make sure that he goes in there fairly and he should support the football
football and not his stomach.
Meanwhile, some Cameroonians uphold that even though some candidates have rallied to their opponent, the final decision rests in the hands of delegates.
Presently, the candidates that are making the talk of the day are Kumunjoya and Itofis, and those are the people that have won the election ahead of time, and because of that, some of the candidates tend to be supporters of others, like Itofis has succeeded to convince 3 candidates support him. But I think the game is in the hands of the delegates. What the delegates will decide will be the final decision. And from my own observation, we cannot conclude a game when the game is not yet over.
Notwithstanding, some Cameroonians have already the name of the winner of the Fecafoot election on their lips.
As for me, what I can say about Fecafoot is that it's going on well, and some candidates like Etofis, they are serious with this campaign, while Saidu Mbonjuya and the others, well, for my conclusion, they are into campaign. With that, Cameroon lovers are giving hail to Etofis to be the president of Fecafoot, because he's really showing interest into it, and considering the fact that he has once been a footballer here in Cameroon, I think he deserves it.
All eyes are therefore turned for tomorrow's highly awaited elections at the helm of the Cameroon Football Federation.
Jementa, in that report, the build-up to the election at the helm of the Cameroon Football Federation, Fecafoot, is getting even hotter, with the various candidates putting in their best to gather votes from delegates. Moreover, politicians are not left out, as many in the different way revealed their position behind our own Finwick Crispin put to this political analyst in the person of Mr. Lincoln Richard.
The sales goes in Cameroon that most of our activities are politically motivated, and this seems to be the case with the elections in Fecafoot this early December. This reflects the system of governance in which we find ourselves, that every appointment or every election has a political motivation, and this point to the fact that those governing in our governance system will never accept any person neutral to come into a higher position who is not from their political scene. I think that is actually what we are seeing now. Sports in general and football in particular is a financially heavy organism where a lot of money trafficking takes place. You can remember the billions of CFA that FIFA gives to the country whenever we are involved in the World Cup. And then you can equally imagine the fight that has taken place in the professional league to oust General Semenge from his post as president of the league. All these elements point to the fact that the governing party, the politicians, they always want somebody
think it's going to be a day of reckoning, a day that many have been expecting to see a legitimate president elected at the helm of Fecafoot. Cameroon football has suffered a lot, and that has to come to an end. And so the elections is going to pave the way for good things. Football landscape is concerned. But notwithstanding, we need to be careful in such a way that those elections should be valid. Otherwise, it will not serve anything good for us to invest so much in this election, and after that, they are cancers.
Boris Esono is of High TV out there in Boya. He, on his part, is positive that whosoever wins will do a great job at the head of the Cameroon Football Federation.
The issue of modernization of football in the country, we need the issue of sponsorship to come into the football, which should give the players some money in their pockets, because mind you, players play for almost 8 months or so, and they cannot go home with something in their pocket as a take-home package after playing football for that number of months. So I think both candidates are talking about sponsorship. They're equally talking about developing youth football. The two are almost the same. I'm trying to look at the positiveness and the negativity of both candidates as who is going to be the right person. And I think, to me, anybody who is elected as president has the ability of taking Cameroon football to the next level.
For Romeo Kenyi of the Cameroon Radio Television CRTV, the candidates have put in so much for this election, and let whoever wins take football in the country to a better level.
It's going to be one of the rare elections we've had a lot of propaganda around. We've seen that each and every candidate has come out in one way or the other, whether through social media or media, or let me say television and radio channels, to explain what plans they've got for the football in Cameroon. And we only wish that the person that is going to win the elections, I don't want to call names because we have two main protagonists, but whoever wins the elections, we can only hope that the elections come to revamp the football in the country.
Those sounds were collected for us by reporter Bizel B. Mafo. The Fecafoot elections are forthcoming, and you soon sought to know from an economist the financial impact of the election on our country's economic. Take a listen to Chabi Prutus on the microphone of Mapalazita.
The Fecafoot elections has enormous impact on the economy, both social, economic, and otherwise. Looking at the economic impact of this election, even though it might not really be significant, but it has a mild effect on the economy. Already it's going to affect the demand, the supply for goods and services in the economy. We have seen already some groups that are acting like fans of one of the contestants. We have seen them printing t-shirts. There is the purchase of the t-shirts. There's money that's been injected into the economy. The enterprise selling increases the demand for those products. It increases the sales volume of that enterprise. Even the enterprise doing the printing and writing of the slogans on the t-shirts. So it has an impact. Through this, the money is being injected into the economy, and money is being injected into the economy. It increases the rate of employment because the production scale increases.
Our guest this afternoon is Atia Gibeto. He is a consultant and football analyst. He was interviewed by our own sportsman, Ben Emmanuel Cole.
Good afternoon, Atia Gibeto. Thank you for being our guest on this edition of our 2 p.m. News Magazine.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to the listeners of Royal FM as well as the viewers of Royal FM on our Facebook page.
Now, we are 24 hours to FECAFOOT elections. How will you describe the race for the top job so far?
The atmosphere is very tense this time. The candidates vying for the position of FECAFOOT president, I think they are leaving no stone unturned. They have been crisscrossing the regions to canvass for the delegates to vote for them. But all in all, I think we always say that the stakes are very high when it concerns election in Cameroon. It's just a normal election. So I think those who are to vote, the delegates and the syndicates of professional players as well as home-based players, I think they are the one to do the job. It does not matter how many of the supporters or how many of the people that are behind you, like Samuel Eto'o, not everybody is going to vote. That is the simple truth about it. Those people who are going to vote are the delegates and a host of others. So the only thing that we need in this country at this point in time is for us to have our football bounce back onto the limelight, because Cameroon football is going down the drain. Because in the past 10 years, it has been very difficult for a Cameroonian club side probably to advance to probably the group stages of the African Confederation Cup as well as African Champions League, except Cotton Sport of Garoua, who is making this country to be proud. So I think we are looking for somebody who have a good manifesto, even though the 4 candidates, they have a very good manifesto. But I think we need somebody that can probably bring our football bounce back onto the limelight, because we should go back to the SAS, when football was football, when sword was sword. I think everything being equal, the best candidate should be elected.
So we have 4 candidates still in the race to run for the elections this Saturday. We have incumbent Seydou Mbombo-Djoya. We have Cameroon's all-time leading goal scorer Samuel Eto'o, former Cameroon international Jules Denis Onana, and of course a businessman Zachary Wantia. What is your assessment of these candidates?
Well, first of all, I will start with the last candidate you mentioned, that is businessman Zachary Wantia. I think, to the best of my knowledge, I don't really think this guy has been a footballer per se, but I think he has the knowledge of how to manage football in this country, and also he has been crisscrossing the nation, canvassing for vote as well. So I think it's going to be a very Herculean task for this guy, because meeting somebody like Seydou Mbombo-Djoya, who are already in the field, who has the experience, Samuel Eto'o, as well as a former Indomitable Lion Jules Denis Onana, all these guys, they have the experience to manage our football. But nevertheless, nowadays football, there's a lot of politics in football. So I think we should forget about politics and concentrate on football to build the nation. So going to Samuel Eto'o, whose soccer pundits, soccer analysts, as well as soccer fans have tipped to be favorite, I think it's only on the D-Day, that is on the 11th of December, that we will know who is going to carry the day. But all is not yet lost for all the candidates, because being equal, those 4 candidates, they have been chosen as the best candidate to vie in for the election or to run for the election. Secondly, Seydou Mbombo-Djoya has been in office and he won the election in 2018. Unfortunately, the election was null and void, and now he is an interim. So what he's going to do at this point in time is going to right the wrongs of the past, even though he has been accused of having corrupt the system, corrupt FECAFOOT, and so many of his items that he raised during when he was supposed to be elected that is the last election when he was a candidate. I think those promises has not been fulfilled at this point in time. So I think, judging to that aspect, I think it will be difficult for him, probably for those who are going to vote for the election. I think it will be difficult for him to probably score more votes from those people because the promises he made has not been fulfilled. Coming to the point of Jules Dede Onana is a former footballer, and this guy is a scholar as well, and he's so experienced as concerns football. So I see Jules Dede Onana, even though not much is being said about Jules Dede Onana, I think the Jules Dede Onana this time, if voted into office, I think he will deliver the goods expected from Cameroonians. So being equal, the four candidates, the terrain is very conducive for them, and anything can happen. It is football, but to see into it that our football moves to the next level. But just because of the time and just because of what so many people were saying, that it was so self-centered, that he was supposed to work with the stakeholders and he did fail in that aspect. I think this is time for anybody who can probably take our football to the next level. It's all about having what we call the football, mastery the game, and probably see into it that you can manage our football, take it to the next level. Emmanuel, is so difficult nowadays. Most of the players playing football in Cameroon, can somebody tell you how much he put a pen onto paper, his signature? He cannot tell you how much he's being paid every month. It's so difficult. So I think all those things will be taken into consideration. Let's see the best candidate. I'm not in support of anybody. What I'm saying here is I just want the football to bounce back onto the limelight because our football is still going down the drain. If somebody who has football at heart to manage our football in this country, I bet you all those things that are required, we'll put them in place. FECAFOOT need to have a good structure. The building there is what we call a dilapidating structure. We need to start from there to have a good FECAFOOT structure, then followed by all the necessary policies that have to be put in place, and we should respect the text as well. This FECAFOOT election is already being contested by Abdurrahman and co at the Court of Arbitration for Sport in Lausanne, Switzerland. Maybe this election will be null and void, but let's just keep our fingers crossed and see how it unfolds. The last few weeks have been quite intense. Bombo Njoya has received support from delegates of about 6 regions. Although it's no guarantee for the elections tomorrow, Eto'o on his part has been able to assemble 3 other candidates that have rallied behind him. What is your reading of all this? It's politics altogether, because it does not matter in a football encounter how many times you attack, but the goals that counts. At the end, who won the game, who carried the day? That's the question that so many people will be asking. It does not matter how. It's politics. They have to be campaign. So I think the campaign is going on smoothly, and the delegates know who are going to vote for them. So I think, to the best of my knowledge, it does not matter how many of the region you already gain, but at the end that counts. So Atia Gilberto, you've been following this development keenly. We are barely 24 hours to the highly anticipated elections. What could be the outcome of all this? Well, I'm not a football doctor. I'm just a consultant, a marketer, and a football analyst. So what will happen tomorrow will belong to history. So, but my advice is for the election to be free, fair, and transparent, and they should follow the text binding FECAFOOT election. And all those who are going to vote, they should have a conscience. Don't vote somebody because the person gave you money, or you want the person to appoint you after the election. It's very common in Cameroon. Cameroon is the only country that I've seen when there's election, they say the stakes are high, and people will be doing a lot of funny things so as to probably gain position at the end of the election. So I think all those who are supposed to vote tomorrow, they should go there, vote with their conscience, and ensure that all what we are looking for is for our football to move to the next level. All what I have just mentioned is supposed to be taken into consideration. Very soon we'll be hosting the African Cup of Nations. Hosting the African Cup of Nations with a very good and democratic FECAFOOT election means a lot for the football stakeholders and all those who are parading the corridors of football in this country. And also FIFA and CAF probably will give us a pass mark as concerns the organization of the election. Why not the organizations of the African Nations Cup? So just an advice, let the better team carry the day. Whosoever is elected to run the affairs of football in this country should have at the back of his mind that you are going there to save the country, to save the population, to save the nation, not going there to enrich yourself, because I know that football, there's money in football. Good luck to the 4 candidates and let the better side or the better candidates carry the day.
You sound very optimistic about all of this and everything going down so well, but with all what we've seen prior to the elections, prior to the build-up to these elections, are you confident that once the elections are conducted, everything will go back to normal? Although we've had reports that, and you mentioned it in your arguments, that another faction led by the no-nonsense Abdurrahman are already contesting for the elections to be cancelled. With all of what we've seen and all the fight, do you think even after the elections are conducted, everything will get back in place?
I think the loser of the election will not accept defeat. If the election is conducted in a very calm and serene manner, it therefore means that the loser will accept and will congratulate the winner. That's just about it. But if the election is conducted and so many of the candidates cry foul that they were cheated or the elections had malpractices and all those type of things, it therefore means I don't think we'll be moving to the right direction. But if the election is conducted in free and fair manner and the observers will be there and made their remark after election that it was conducted in a free and fair manner, it therefore means that the candidates who is going to carry the day, the candidates will be congratulated and work with all those who probably were part and parcel of the election. That's my cry and that's my worry for now.
In 2018, you witnessed these same presidential elections at Fecafoot. What's different between 2018 and 2021?
Well, the candidates are different. In 2018, Samuel Eto'o was not there, but today Samuel Eto'o is there.
In terms of the stakes?
Yeah, in terms of the stakes, I think the other issue is for us to respect the text. In terms of 2018 election, the text was not respected. But I think this time, 2021, part of the text has been respected. The rules and regulation has been spelled out. That is just the simple difference between the election of 2018 and the election of 2021. Even though the election of 2018 was still contested, and after some investigations, it was revealed that the incumbent, who is Seydou Mbonjoya, won the election, but the election was not conducted in a free and fair and transparent manner. So that is why FIFA came in and said no, since he is president of Fecafoot and the election was not free and fair and all those types of things, there was malpractices, allegations
have continued their poor runs at the 2021 Women's Handball World Championship and are yet to celebrate a win after 4 games. Even after being relegated to the President's Cup alongside the bottom place nations from the various groups in a sort of classification ranking, they are yet to impress. After falling to Group B rivals, the Russian Handball Federation, Serbia and Poland, without reaching the 20-goal mark, the vice-African champions suffered another defeat yesterday, this time in the hands of familiar rivals Angola. The African reigning champions defeated Cameroon by 35 against 24, and despite the defeat, Paula Ibanga, who was named player of the match, says the team is positive ahead of their next games.
The game of our team today is better than the game of the preliminary tour, and the match of today was not difficult than the match of the final of the African Cup of Nations. I think that we have the obligation to win another match to ameliorate our position.
Total Energies AFCON Cameroon 2021. Our special page in the news.
Benin Manuel, the head coach of men's national team of Cameroon, have listed 40 players to begin preparation ahead of the 2021 African Cup of Nations, which begins in a month's time.
You're correct. The list of 40 players pre-selected by the Portuguese gaffer Antonio Conceição ahead of next year's African Cup of Nations is made up of regulars, returnees and newcomers. There are 4 debutants listed in the squad: Montpellier's defender Ebose Enzo Sancha Boy of Galatasaray, Greek-based footballer Jeremy Kevin Olivier, Sonny and Jeremy Mbolo of the Major League Soccer side San Jose Earthquakes. The list of returnees is headlined with names like Jack Clinton, the former Tottenham Hotspur midfielder, last played for the Indomitable Lions in November 2020, Joskin Dawa, former Kotong Sports showstopper Narcisse Len, John Mary, and Samuel Junior Koto have all been included as well. The list of pre-selected 40 players will be reduced to 32 men before Cameroon's final squad for the 2021 AFCON will be announced late December, with several prolific players to make the cut. The indomitable Lions of Cameroon are bracing up to clinch their seed continental crown on home soil. As host nation of the 2021 African Cup of Nations, the five-time African
in the news.
Thank you very much, Ben Emmanuel Kum. We are going to wrap up this magazine with our cultural page. Weekend is around the corner again, and through the gospel cultural
The Voice newspaper will be celebrating its 5th anniversary at the Giko Palace, Obili, this Saturday as from 5 p.m. And if you are a lover of our rich cultural heritage, then do not miss the 2021 edition of Ndirolak, a cultural festival of the Wimbum people, which